So let's pivot the conversation from creation, which I would love to spend another hour just talking about that because I think it's super interesting and it's very relevant for the reasons that we specified. But I'm not sure that everybody is familiar. Earlier you mentioned demand side platform. DSP. I think anybody working in video, at least if you're around, entertainment content that is, where advertising is a component, it probably has heard, DSP and some of these other acronyms, which I'll let you explain. But why don't you give a 2 or 3 minute primer on how the ecosystem works, how it's structured, who the players are, and just how these platforms even work. Because I think this also is very important. A lot of discussion today, and I like that you have experience building like Whirl, for example. So there's a lot of talk, in the streaming side, vendors and analysts, observers that fast is going to like be this huge boom. It's going to save the industry. It's this panacea, and yet we know that some companies are doing well and they're making a go of it. Others are the economics aren't quite there yet, and everybody has their theory as to why. And half the time, the conversations I'm in, I'm like, maybe we better explain how all this actually works.
Yeah.
Because it's the implication is and I'm intentionally not going to name names, but platform XYZ, they just need to charge more and then they're going to be profitable, or and it's like, let's back up here. Let's look at who all the players are and how the money flows. And so give us a primer on this, because I think the audience, it'd be helpful. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, yeah, tell me exactly how this
Totally.
works.
I just want to make it clear that you asked me to explain ad tech, which is a daunting task. The most acronyms per square inch in any industry is ad tech.
Hey, there's the 40,000 foot view.
Yeah.
Why don't you do about the 80,000 foot view?
Well, no, I think the problem we're trying to solve does actually help explain. So we had this great piece that was written in TV News Check that I contributed some quotes about, and it talked about the embarrassingly low fill rate problem in CTV. Yes. So what's really fascinating right now is we have record audience watching CTV. And everyone's getting in the ad-supported game. Even Netflix, who for years was like, we're never going to do advertising.
Oh, yeah.
Now they have advertising. There's rumors now Apple is doing it. They are going to do it. Everyone is doing advertising. So that's great. That's one reason to be very excited when you're an ad tech guy in the industry. So the reality, though, is there's so many ways my brain's going. With linear, you got your money from advertising and from retrans fees from the operators who kind of distributed your content.
Yeah.
For now, at least, there's no clear path where those retrans fees will carry over into CTV. So you're losing a major source of revenue if you're like Comcast or NBCU, et cetera. So we really need to rely on the advertising ecosystem, the CTV advertising ecosystem being robust. However, the reality is that on average, the programmatic fill rate, so programmatic is, buying and selling via kind of auction style advertising on Netflix, Hulu, et cetera, through a demand side platform, the biggest kind of independent one being the Trade Desk, the walled gardens being Google and DV360. And there's some really interesting antitrust stuff going on there.
Yes, there is.
and then Meta as well, but Meta's not for CTV. Meta's social and mobile. And programmatic's kind of the growing way to transact. There's also, you can buy direct to the platforms, and usually that's the bigger guys will get these big direct spends. They have big sales teams, etc. So we're trying to figure out with broadcaster partners, how do we help them solve for that super low 38% average fill rate? And one way to do that is to attract millions of SMB advertisers into the ecosystem that are looking for alternatives to just mobile and search, because now there's more ways to target in CTV. And we're doing that by reducing the friction with Gen AI. And then those are direct spends on their platform, which kind of bypasses all of the problems with the programmatic auction. You could think of programmatic as the stock market. It's like buying stocks, and there's lots of transactions, billions of transactions and ad requests going on in real time. And there's just issues with the pipes sometimes. And we're trying to help with a solution to solve that.